welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. My name is Crystal and today I'm going to go through my top picks if you're starting out in makeup. So I've categorized everything into each section of the face and then I picked the best products. I've tried to limit myself to one product per category, but I feel like for some sections you do need more than one item. Like for brows, I do feel like you need a couple of items in that space to really achieve the perfect brow. So I've tried to, like I said, limit it to one item per category for people that are starting out in makeup and they're just starting to dabble in that high-end, more luxury end of makeup. So these are my top picks, and for me, every single time I use them, they're super reliable. I've never had any problems with them, so I definitely think that they're worth the investment. But before we get into the video, do not forget to subscribe to my channel and also add me over on Instagram. I'll have my links on the screen over here for you guys to go and check me out over there. I hope you guys are keeping safe and well in these trying times and really looking after yourself both physically and mentally, and looking after your friends and family as well as best you can. So without further ado, let's just get straight into the video. So I'm going to try and do this in order of how you would apply them to your face. I do tend to do my makeup in a bit of a different order to other people, but I mean, I'll try and start with the base and then basically finish with the lips. So I'll start with primer. For primer, I do think that this is one of the best products on the market. You could kind of choose what version of this product that you would prefer to go for, whether you'd like it in the solid form or whether you prefer it in like the bottle form. So it is the Tatcha the Silk Canvas primer. So this one is in the putty form. This is so reliable. I've never had any problems with this ever since I've used it. It was fantastic from the moment I first tried it and I was blown away. So it just looks like this. It's solid. I decant mine. I don't put my fingers into this product because I'm concerned the oils from my fingers are going to actually alter the product that's in the pan. So I do tend to decant it with the back of a brush, or I use a spatula and I just get that out and I either pop it on the back of my hand or I pop it on a palette and then I put it on the face. But for me, this is definitely something, if you're starting out in makeup, if you've never used primer before, or if you're only just starting to step into the luxury end, I mean, this is definitely top end in terms of a product to invest in. I definitely think this is something to start with and then find out what your preferences are and then go from there. Next is foundations. Now I do have two here. Like I did say I was going to try and get one for each category, but for this one I do have two because they're two different types. So the first one is the Laura Mercier Flawless Fusion Ultra Longwear Foundation. This one is in the shade Cashew. I love this foundation. It doesn't move on me. It is matte, so only certain skin types will be able to work with this. If you're more on the drier side, this might be a little bit tricky for you to wear, but if you are an oily to combination person like myself, this is amazing. It will hold your oils, but it won't make you look cakey. It won't lift with your oils throughout the day. It will stay put and it will stay looking like skin, which is the key thing for a foundation for people who have oily to combination skin, is that it looks like skin at the end of the day, and this product is definitely good for doing that. The other foundation that I have here is the NARS Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. This is in the shade Punjab. I'm wearing this right now. I'm thinking that this might be the foundation that I wear for my wedding day. So I haven't actually mentioned it on my channel yet, but I'm getting married next year in March and I'm going to be doing my own makeup for my wedding day. A bit of a risky move, but I mean, I should be a qualified makeup artist by then and I'm quite confident in my skills and I've already started practicing the kind of look. I mean, I did a practice look today. I don't know how I feel about it, but I mean, I'm just going for a soft glam. I've got no lashes on at the moment either, so we don't know yet. But this foundation is super luminous. It's actually a really nice satin finish, so that's something that I really appreciate about it, and it does look better with wear time. So if you're an oily to combination person as well, it is a product where your oils might mix with the product itself, and instead of making it cakey and making it look funny, it actually looks luminous and dewy and glowing from within in a good way. It still looks like skin. It might need a little bit of powdering down throughout the day, but it is definitely something that looks good with wear rather than the very first instance that you put it on your face. It might look a bit stark, but throughout the day it definitely looks better. So I do recommend this as an alternative to the Laura Mercier foundation because it is more of a satin finish rather than a matte finish. So moving on to concealers, I have two concealers here that I would definitely recommend for this particular category. I have the Tarte Shape Tape. This is in the shade Light. I mean, of course I'm going to talk about this. I think this is fantastic. I haven't really heard of too many people who don't like this product or who it doesn't work for. I have heard some people say that it can be a bit drying, whereas I mean, if you let it sit on your skin, like if you don't put it on your face and then just blend it out straight away, it actually can look better. So what I tend to do in the mornings when I'm getting ready for work, or if I'm just getting ready for the day, I do it under my eyes first, and then I pop it on my forehead and on my chin. But then I go and I blend out my chin and my forehead first, letting the concealer sit under my eyes for a bit longer than it would normally. And I think that that is the real key to this product, and making it look a bit more effortless and blown out and looking really airbrushed, for lack of a better word. So I definitely think this is worth the investment. It's not too expensive and it lasts for ages. Like, there is so much product in this little tube, and a little bit goes a really long way. Next up is a pot concealer. So again, I've got two for this category, but they're two very different products. This is the NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer. I have mine in medium 1 custard. I swear by this. It's just a little pot here, and honestly, you can do so much with this. You can spot conceal, you can do your under eyes, you can use this as an eye primer. This is a very universal product. If you haven't tried this particular concealer, I definitely recommend going out and trying it out. Even if you can get a sample of this, I'm not quite sure how they would give it to you as a sample, but I mean, if you could get it, definitely try it, because it is something that will blow your mind. I've gone through, I'm pretty sure 3 of these, but I haven't actually finished 3, if that makes sense. Like, I finished 1, this is the next one that I'm using, and then I've lost one when I was out partying one night. I had too much to drink and I dropped my purse, and I lost my other one of these in the process, and literally it was the first thing I went and bought the next day, because I cannot survive without this concealer. So next up is an eye primer. This is the MAC Soft Ochre Pro Longwear Paint Pot. I love this. This is so beautiful. It's a yellow based eye primer. It honestly doesn't crease. So I have super creased up eyes. My eyes have additional folds in the mobile lid than maybe some other people do. And for me, it does mean that my eye primers do tend to crease, and my eyeshadows can crease quite easily as well, which is a real shame. So for me, I have to have a really high quality product that is not going to crease in order to sustain a flawless looking eyelid, if that's a thing. But anyway, this is probably the only product that I use on my eyes that does not crease, where I can put it on there, set it with a powder, and there'll be no creasing throughout the day. Whereas with the concealer, I find that that happens. With the P. Louise eye base, I find that that happens as well. It's very few products that can actually not crease on my eyes, and this is one of them, and this is the best of them as well. It's been around for ages. Everyone's talked about it forever. A lot of makeup artists still swear by it, and I mean, it's not going to go anywhere forever. So if you haven't tried it, definitely go out and give it a go. It's not too expensive in terms of a high-end product. So if you haven't had a go at it, definitely rush out and try and snag one for yourself. So moving on to powders. So to set the face, my all-time favorite powder, which I actually don't have in my collection right now, it kills me, is the Cover FX Perfect Setting Powder. That is my ride or die #1. If you want to go out and get a powder that I can guarantee will work for you, that is the powder to give a go. It works for dry skin, it works for oily skin, it works for normal skin. So it's definitely something that's worth the investment. It's kind of expensive in terms of a product that you know you're going to get your money's worth out of. That's definitely one to look at. But one that I want to talk about today is the Hourglass Veil Translucent Setting Powder. This is quite nice. I'm wearing this today as well. It really does soften on the skin and diffuse the light. So it makes it look really effortless and airbrushed in real life. And it does work really well for dry under eyes as well. So for me, I'm combination, but my under eyes are really, really dry, particularly at the moment with being inside so frequently and not getting out and going into different environments and having your skin adapt and change. I don't know what's going on, but my skin's just super dry at the moment, and I can't seem to combat it no matter what I do. So at the moment, this has been my savior for under my eyes. It doesn't make it look crusty. It looks quite beautiful. Again, it's not cheap, but it's something that works really well, and a lot of people have said that they like this product. It's just the price tag that puts a lot of people off, but I mean, if you are starting to dabble in the makeup space, this is definitely something from this category I would give a go. So moving on to bronzer, I love the Hoola Benefit bronzer. I have the jumbo one here. It doesn't normally come in this size. It's usually about half the size of this, but I got this one over in England when it was out and I just couldn't help myself. I had to get it. So this is a really, really beautiful neutral brown. It's more erring on the side of brown rather than orange, so it works for a plethora of skin tones. For me, every single time I pick this up and I use it, I know it's going to work for me. I know it's going to look fantastic, and I'm never going to have a problem with the way that my skin looks throughout the day. It also has a really great longevity in terms of wear. So it doesn't patch up throughout the day or anything like that. It does stay quite consistent, and it looks quite natural as well. So when we're doing our makeup, we are trying to enhance the way that we look, but we're also not trying to look too fake. I mean, some people do like that look, but for me, I mean, if I'm going into the office, I don't want to look like I've altered my entire face. I find that this bronzer is really good for that. It doesn't look too out of character, like it doesn't look too orange, it doesn't look too grey. It's just the perfect tone, and you can contour and you can bronze with this product. So it's definitely something that's worth the investment. It's tried and true, it's been around forever, everybody has raved about it at some point in their lives, so I definitely recommend trying this one for the bronzer category. So moving on to blush, you can't go wrong with the MAC blushes. So this is in the old packaging, but honestly the MAC blushes, they're just so reliable. They've been around forever. I honestly couldn't talk about another blush higher than this one. So this is in the shade Gingerly. I really love this for every day. I think it's absolutely stunning, really beautiful for brides as well. It is a matte bronzer, I'm pretty sure. This one says it's a sheer tone blush, but I mean, they've got lots of different types of blushes, and this one to me is essentially, it's a matte blush. Like I can't see any shimmer or anything in there, but I use this pretty hardcore for a year and there's barely a dint in it. So these things last forever. So you get quite a bit of product in these, which is really awesome for your money, and they do tend to be quite a reasonable price as well. I do think that if you're starting out in makeup and you do want to dabble in that high-end space, I do think MAC is the best way to go in terms of cost effective and what you get for your money. So I know that they're kind of been left behind or buried under the whole like beauty brands that have released new products, and it's just been an absolute explosion in the market. But I do think that MAC is going to be one of the brands that does stand the test of time, because it has been around forever and it is an international brand where it's just known from everybody. I do think that it's a great place to start with your investments, but in terms of blushes, these are my favorite, and they're really good in terms of price point as well. So for this category, I'm going to say the MAC blushes. Okay, so now going into highlighters. This highlighter blew me away when I first used it. Like I couldn't believe the quality of this particular highlighter. It was expensive, but at the same time, at least I'm getting what I'm paying for. It is the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector, and this is in the shade Opal. Look at this packaging. It's so cool. It looks like a little like flying saucer. It's so cute. So Opal just looks like this. The quality of these are phenomenal. The only thing I could say is that they do have a tendency to shatter if you travel a lot. So the way that you can combat that is just by putting a cotton round in here, and then when you close it, it'll protect it that little bit more. But in terms of highlighters, this is my second one of these. That's how much I love it. These are beautiful for brides, and they're also beautiful for every day because they just melt into the skin. When you first put them on, they can enhance texture and they can look a little bit over the top, but if you give it a bit of time and once your oils and stuff start to build up throughout the day, it does start to become more skin-like and it looks very natural on the skin. Again, this is quite an expensive product, but I do think it's worth the money because once you've got this lasts for ages as well, and it's something that's super reliable. You never really go over the top with this. It always looks quite flawless and beautiful, and I honestly just haven't found a highlighter that can top this for me. So I definitely recommend this as a highlighter to start off with if you are getting into makeup. So next we're going to talk about brows. So I have a couple of products for the brow category to talk about. Each of them does a different thing, and I actually use all of these products in order to do my brows. So this is probably going to be the biggest category in terms of suggestions, being that there's more than one. So the first thing I want to talk about is the Precisely My Brow by Benefit. This is absolutely fantastic, super creamy. They have such an amazing shade range for their brow products. It's got this tiny little tip on the end. It's in like a pen kind of form, and it's just a twist up, and then on the other end you get a spoolie. So it's really good for travel if you're on the go. You don't have to have an extra brush to do your brows with the spoolie. So this is a super reliable product. I've been using this for years. It's not too expensive in terms of high end, and I definitely think it's something that you need if you're getting into brows, because this is honestly going to be a game changer in terms of being able to shape the brows and then save yourself time without having to use concealer to carve the brows out as well. Going with that, I swear by the Soft Brown Dip Brow Pomade by Anastasia. I use this to make the tail of my brows super sharp. I do try to skip the step of carving out my eyebrows with concealer. I just don't really have the time for that, so I just try to get it right the first time, and I find that I can do that with this product. It's super opaque and it's super creamy and soft. It really does glide over the brows, and if you're going over the skin to make your brows look more full, this is really good for that as well. So I've had this for quite a while. I know a lot of people have said that this has dried out on them quite early on in the piece. I just put in some of my Inglot Duraline into this product and it's just come back to life. It's completely fine. I mean, I've had it forever. They last for ages. Never let me down. And I honestly don't think there's a pomade out there that can compare to this. So if you are getting into makeup, this is definitely something to have a look at. Also, off the back of that, I have the Foolproof Brow Powder. I love this powder. I think it's amazing. I've even hit pan on mine at the front in the lighter shade. I love this for doing the front part of my brows and just doing that fade effect. I think it looks really lovely, and it's soft and it's really easy to use. Out of everything, if you're just starting to get into brows, this is definitely a product to start off with because you can experiment and see how it works without having to be too precise and too on point in terms of where you're placing the product, because it is quite forgiving. And you also get 2 colors in there as well, so you can try the whole fade brow or you can stick with one color, and you can try some different things with this product as well. So definitely recommend that. And then last in the brows category, mine looks really bad because I've had it for ages. This is Gimme Brow by Benefit. It's a brow mascara that puts fibers into the brows. So you basically just push your brows up. It holds the brows in place as well, which is really good. But it predominantly puts fibers onto the brow hairs and makes it look more hair-like, which I really appreciate, because sometimes when you're putting a lot of product onto your brows, it can make them look quite flat. And then when you put this on top, it really does bring them back to life and make them look like real brows, which I can really appreciate. So I do think all of these products do have a place in terms of doing your brows, and together they can create the perfect brow. So moving on to eyes. So I'm going to talk about 2 eyeshadow palettes here that I swear by. I honestly don't think you really need anything else if you're starting out in makeup. And these are quite inexpensive as well, but the quality of them is fantastic. And I do think that they're fantastic products just all round. So they are the 2 Jaclyn Hill palettes. I've got both of them in this particular category because they both serve a different purpose, which you will see. So this is the original palette here. So you've got a lot of neutral tones in here. You've got a few pops of color, but not really. I mean, if you cover that up, it's all just neutrals. So this works really well for the everyday. If you're a makeup artist, this is a godsend. If you need a lot of neutrals that are going to look fantastic. The eye look that I have on today is only using this palette, and like, I'm quite happy with how it's turned out. Every single time I've used this palette, I've always loved the way that my makeup has turned out. So it's super reliable in that sense, and being that it is from Morphe, it's super inexpensive. So that's the neutral original palette. And then she recently released her volume 2 palette, which is a lot more colorful. So it looks like this. So if you were to have both of them, you've really got an array of neutrals and colors. There are a few neutrals in this palette as well, which is quite fantastic. So this row here, this top row, is, I consider to be quite neutral, aside from this shimmery shade here, which actually reflects pink, although it might look white in the pan. And then you've also got a lot of browns here as well. But you've got all of your colors in here. So if anybody's ever looking for you to do a colorful look on them, or you're looking to do a colorful look on yourself and experiment with your techniques, this is a really good palette to have. It does have a bit of kickback, but I think that's just because of the type of color that they've tried to press. I mean, it's always harder to press a bright colorful eyeshadow than it is to press a neutral. So I definitely think that if you are looking for eyeshadow palettes that are quite inexpensive and you're going to cover yourself for an array of shades, these are the 2 to go for. Okay, so keeping with the eyes, 2 eyeliners I think that you guys should definitely get if you are starting out in makeup is the Inglot 77 eyeliner and the Fenty Beauty Fly Liner in black. So these are 2 different types of eyeliner. The felt tip is really good for doing wings, and then the gel is really good for just doing your regular eyeliner. This is a bit more easier to use just because it is a grittier, thicker, putty-like formula, and this one is smooth like a felt tip pen. They both serve similar purposes, but they both apply differently, which is fantastic. You need a brush for this one, but this one just comes straight out of the product itself. But they're both reliable, neither of them bleed, which is fantastic as well. And in terms of price point, they're not too expensive either. So a pair of lashes that I absolutely adore is the Huda Beauty Samantha No. 7 lashes. I've used these over and over and over again. I actually can't tell you how many times I've used them. That's how many times I've gone back to them, and they're still going strong. I mean, I am not looking for these to slow down anytime soon, and when they do, I reckon I'll go out and buy another pair. I'm not quite sure if these are mink lashes. I don't think they are. I'm pretty sure they're faux mink, but they are expensive. They're like $35 a pair, which is like the top end of lashes. You can get lashes much cheaper, but the quality of these and how long I've had them for and how easy they are to apply is uncomparable. I always apply them with the Duo Lash Glue, and this is the latex free one on the stick, the brush form. These two together are a heaven sent. I definitely recommend trying the Samantha lashes in particular. I have deep set eyes, so I do think it's something that you should go and have a look at in terms of your eye shape. Sorry, my camera died. I think for an array of eye shapes, this is definitely a really good style, and I do think that Huda Beauty does make some fantastic lashes. They have a cult following, and there's a reason for that. I mean, I suck at lashes. It's always been something that I've never been particularly great at, but these make me feel like a pro. And this particular lash glue, the Duo Lash Glue, makes it super easy as well. So these two together are definitely really great investments. Moving on to a setting spray. I swear by this setting spray at the moment. I think it's absolutely fantastic. It is the MAC Prep and Prime Fix Plus Rose. This is so beautiful. I mean, I kind of stepped away from MAC a while ago. I didn't really get interested in them as a brand, but this year, like over the past couple of months, I've been obsessed with them. So I'm really glad I found this. My teacher at the makeup school that I'm attending at the moment was saying that Rose for your skin is incredible. I was just like, oh, whatever. I mean, another thing to invest in. So I thought I would try the Rose Prep and Prime because I never liked the original Prep and Prime. It never really did anything for me. This is incredible. The Rose really takes this to the next level, especially if you're an oily combination person who had issues with the original Prep and Prime. This is so good for everyday use and also to use on your clients. I think it's $35 for a bottle. It's a little bit more expensive than your regular Prep and Prime, but it's so fantastic. And in terms of a setting spray that's going to not only set your makeup but also make your skin look really luminous, look really natural, and help your makeup melt into the skin, this is definitely probably the best on the market for that. So I highly recommend investing in this for this particular category. Okay, so moving on to lips, I have a lipstick brand that I think is amazing. So it is the Huda Beauty matte lipsticks. These are so great. I've raved about these a couple of times on my channel. I'm wearing Anniversary today on my lips. I think it is like the best everyday nude shade. So Anniversary is like a brown kind of nude shade. It's this one just here, and I thought that I wanted to get a pinky nude to go with it, and it is Prom Night, and it's just stunning. They're both absolutely beautiful. So they're definitely worth the investment. They're matte, but they're super creamy matte, and they stay on the lips for ages. I mean, I can eat food, I can drink drinks and stuff like that, and it will still be on my lips by the time I'm finished. So anything from this particular lipstick line is definitely worth your investment. I haven't tried Huda's liquid lipsticks or anything like that, but I'm super keen to give them a go. I've heard raving reviews about them, but I definitely think that these particular ones are fantastic, and they're definitely worth your investment, and they're definitely my favorite for this particular category. So the last item that I have to talk about here is a lip gloss. So this is my ride or die, tried and true. I would never pick any other lip gloss over this one, and it is the Hourglass Unreal Lip Gloss in the shade Provoke. I think this is absolutely beautiful. The packaging on this is so stunning. It's really weighted, so you feel like you've got a luxury item, and what I love about it as well is that it has a really unique applicator. So it just looks like this. It's this really weird, like rounded applicator, and I don't know, it's really cool, and it smells like mint. and it kind of like, it doesn't taste like anything, but it really plumps your lips up as well. It makes them look really juicy, really big, and like they really stand out. So it has no tingling or anything in it. It smells like mint, so it probably has the mint in there, which is making them look more juicy and plumped up, but it doesn't tingle or make your lips feel uncomfortable like the lip injections from Too Faced. So this is like my favorite lip gloss ever. I mean, nothing else can compare. The only thing that comes relatively close is the Marc Jacobs lip gloss. I think they're okay, but this is still better, and it's so pigmented. You could wear this on its own. You don't really need a lipstick or anything underneath it. It looks fine by itself, but I do think that this is like such a good investment in terms of makeup if you are just getting started out, because it's going to be reliable. It's going to absolutely blow your socks off. You're going to love it. So definitely give this a go if you are in the market for a lip gloss, and it's my favorite for this category. Okay, so that is the end of this video. I've talked about everything that I think are the #1 products for each of their subjective categories, and I honestly think that these are my tried and true products. I don't really think that there's anything else right now that can top these products for me. If you are getting started out in makeup, these for me are probably the best investments that I think you could put your money into. Makeup can be a space where it can be a complete black hole in terms of your money. You can just keep on throwing money and money at it, and you just never feel like you're getting your money's worth or the kind of product that you're actually looking for. So for me, I kind of feel like I've already done that for you guys. These products are fantastic. If you have oily combination skin, this is the space to go for. Like literally, these lipsticks are fantastic. The eye products are fantastic. I honestly can't say enough amazing things about these products and these brands, and I definitely recommend them if you are starting out in makeup, because at least you won't have to go out and try a whole bunch of different brands and then find out what works and what doesn't work, and then you've spent thousands of dollars on makeup that you're never really going to use. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you're all keeping safe and well, and do not forget to subscribe before you leave. I'm putting up 3 videos a week at the moment, and I'm trying to keep that consistent moving forward. So I'm uploading every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday, and do not forget to go and check me out on Instagram as well, and go and give me a follow over there. And again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Thanks guys, bye.